Have you ever been in that situation in med school where you feel that you have understood the concept, but you are still struggling when it comes to memorizing the facts related to that very concept? I have certainly been there, and the one thing that helps me break this curse every single time is what I like to call the mnemonic magic. What's going on, Sapiens? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Arham and I'm a third year medical student at the University of Oslo in Norway. Now, learning can be cut up into two major portions. Firstly, facts, and secondly, concepts. Now, what exactly is the difference between facts and concepts? A concept is a derived and abstract form of knowledge, whereas a fact is something that is known to be true, or something that has low level of abstraction. Or explained in easier words, facts require memorization, whereas concepts require understanding. Let me give you guys a quick example to illustrate this point in a much better way. So let's talk about the heart. The heart has 4 chambers. This is a fact. There is no questioning to it. Whereas how these 4 chambers work and coordinate together in a fashion that enables the heart to pump blood to the rest of the body is a concept which requires understanding. Now, I believe that the first step to learning is memorizing the facts, and then comes step number 2, which is understanding the concepts that are derived from those facts. Now, let's say you want to learn how the heart pumps blood to all the other organs in the human body. In order to learn this, you need to know firstly that there are 4 chambers in the heart, which is a fact. And when you have memorized this fact, only then you can start understanding how these 4 chambers work and coordinate to pump blood to all the other organs. So step 1, memorizing facts, and step 2, understanding the concepts which are derived from those facts. As medical students, we have tons of information and facts that we need to memorize, not only to be able to pass our exams, but also create and develop the system in our brains where we can retrieve the information that we have memorized whenever we need it. So this is going to be a series of videos where I explain different evidence-based memorization techniques, and today we are going to be talking about mnemonics. Even though I will be giving a lot of examples from medicine, you can still apply the same principles to literally any other field out there and take your memorization skills to the next level. And since time is the most precious thing in the world, here are the timestamps of my videos so you guys can skip through and watch exactly the parts that you are interested in. So firstly, I will be talking to you guys about what exactly mnemonics are and what is the science behind them and why they seem to work so well. And then later on, I will be explaining the 3 or 4 major categories of mnemonics, which are acronyms, coined phrases, interactive images, and connection mnemonics, before ending the video with a conclusion. The word mnemonics is derived from mnemonicos, which means of memory or related to memory. Another cool fact is that the word mnemonics is also related to the word Mnemosyne, who was the goddess of memory in ancient Greek mythology. But by definition, any learning technique or memory trick which helps us to memorize information, which is essentially hard to remember, is a mnemonic. Now, one of the most common mnemonics which I still use every single time is 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, blah, 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 blah. Because I still have problems with remembering which months have 31 days and which months have 30 days. So this mnemonic actually helps me every single time. But there are other people out there who like to use a knuckle system to remember this. So January, February, March, April, May, which also is essentially a mnemonic because this is a tool which helps us remember stuff. So anything that helps us remember or memorize something that is hard to remember is a mnemonic. Now, the one thing that I love the most about mnemonics is that you can literally make your own mnemonics, or you also have the option to simply Google a mnemonic for any information that you are trying to learn. Let's have a short look at the science behind mnemonics and why these seem to work so well. The human mind remembers spatial and visual information much more easily compared to abstract or impersonal forms of information. And the simplest reason why mnemonics seem to work so well is because they help us to connect or associate the information that we are trying to memorize with the information that we already know, or with the information that is already stored in our long-term memory. A bit fancy way of saying this would be that mnemonics help us construct synapses between the information that we are trying to learn with the neurons or with the information that is already consolidated in our brains or is stored in our long-term memory. Acronyms are words or abbreviations that are formed by combining the initial letters of the information that you are trying to learn. I'll give you guys a few examples. Now, personally, I would always get confused when it came to the difference between afferent and efferent neurons. I don't know why, but I would get confused every single time. Which are the neurons which bring information to the brain and spinal cord, and which are the neurons which bring information from the brain and spinal cord to the other organs of the body. But all this confusion went away the moment I came across the acronym SAME. Afferent and efferent are same, S-A-M-E. S, sensory, A, afferent, M, motor, E, efferent. So sensory are afferent, motor neurons are efferent. That's it, problem solved. Let's take an example from anatomy. So the word stars helped me memorize all the nerves coming from the posterior cord of the brachial plexus. So S, upper subscapular, T, thoracodorsal, A, axillary, R, radial, S, lower subscapular nerve. So another example would be A, B, C, D, E in emergency medicine. Airways, breathing, circulation, disability, exposure, or everything else. Another acronym I use almost every single day when examining patients or taking patient history is the word SOCRATES, which is an acronym for remembering the evaluation of the nature of pain a patient is having. So S, site, O, onset, C, character, R, radiation, A, associated symptoms, T, time, E, exacerbating or relieving factors, and S, severity from 1 to 10. So acronyms have made my life so much more simple ever since I've started using them. And now let's talk about coined phrases. Coined phrases are essentially sayings, poems, songs, or rhymes which help you memorize a certain fact. So the example I mentioned earlier about 30 days has September, April, June, and November, all the rest have 31. That is an example of a coined phrase. Let me give you guys one more example from anatomy. So the carpal bones are really hard to memorize, or at least I found them hard to memorize. So this coined phrase really helped or really made the situation much more easy. Some levels try positions that they can't handle. So scaphoid, L, lunate, tricatrium, positions, P, pisiform, try positions that they, so trapezium, capitate, and hamate. There we go. So these coin phrases, you can just simply look them up on Google, or you can make up your own coin phrases to make life much more easy. Now let's talk about interactive images and connection mnemonics. And this is my personal favorite part because I use these almost every single day when I'm studying. So the idea is that you are creating any sort of imagery in your brain or any sort of connection in your brain which helps you remember the stuff. And the weirder it is, the better you will retain that information. Probably. So ever since I was a kid, I could never ever remember the difference between concave and convex. I would always get confused as to which one is concave and which one is convex. And last year, a good friend of mine, shout out to Ole Christian, he actually showed me this immensely amazing way to remember the difference between concave and convex. So convex, vex, in Norwegian, vext in Norwegian means growth. So the growth of a tummy, which is like this, right? So convex would be this way, whereas convex would be the exact opposite, so inwards. So, and ever since that, I have never forgotten the difference between concave and convex. So the weirder these images or connections are, the better it is. Now essentially, anytime that you are making weird associations in your brain with the information that you already know, that is a connection mnemonic. So yesterday, for example, I was trying to recall which are the main agents for myocarditis, which is inflammation in the heart muscle. Is it like a viral disease most commonly, or is it caused by bacteria? And this is information that I forget almost every single time I do active recall. So I was kind of stressed out. And then I thought, you know what, I'll just sit down and make a connection mnemonic for this, which will help you remember this information for times to come. And this is what I ended up with. So myocarditis is the inflammation of the heart muscle, which is the myocardium. And so myocardium, and the first thing that comes to my mind when I heard the word myocardium are the ventricles, right? So ventricles start with a V, and V means viral. So myocarditis is mostly viral. Boom, and there we go. So I really felt like a genius after creating this connection mnemonic. No, jokes apart, the idea is that you are essentially creating your own connection mnemonics which will help you memorize information according to your own experiences. Because when I hear the word myocardium, the first thing that comes to my mind are the ventricles. However, that may not be the case for you, right? So you might think about the atria when you hear the word myocardium. So the idea is that you are essentially creating connections with the information that is stored in your brains or in accordance with your own personalized impressions. So what exactly have I talked about today? So mnemonics are essentially any tools or learning techniques which will help you memorize the material or the information that you are trying to learn. And the reason why mnemonics work so well is that you are creating connections with the information that is already stored or is already consolidated in your long-term memory. And the major types of mnemonics are acronyms, coined phrases, and my personal favorites are interactive images and connection mnemonics, which I've personally liked to make, and the weirder they are, the better it is. So yeah, just try these out and let me know how you guys feel about these. That's all I had to say for today, guys. If you haven't subscribed already, then please consider doing so. And if you enjoyed this video, then you might also enjoy watching this video where I talk about the few ways in which we can take our exam performance to a whole new level. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.